This is Robert Harper with Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division. Glad to bring you the Merchandiser Minute for Friday, February the 21st, 2020. Hoping you're doing well, hoping you've had a great week this week. It's been wonderful to get out and see a lot of Farm Bureau members at more crop conferences, and just really appreciate seeing all y'all and talking about all of this news that's going on, influencing the futures and the basis part of your cash price. Let's take a look at how things closed out in Chicago today. Remember, this was a short week. We only had 4 trading days this week, as well as all March options expired today as well. So let's look at the closing prices. March corn closed down a penny for the week at $3.77. March beans closed at $8.90 a bushel today. That was down 4 cents for this week's trade. And March wheat, the soft wheat contract in Chicago, closed at $5.52, up 6 cents for the week. And what a way to start the week off when you looked at your quote screens on Tuesday and saw some wheat contracts up 25 cents a bushel. We really saw this week how the long managed money speculator can really change his or her opinion fast and throw a lot of money at any of these commodities. We weren't able to hold those gains going in, or all of those gains for the week, but it was really remarkable to see the board move like that. I think it was May of last year was the last time wheat had moved up that much in one trading session. We got our USDA numbers a day off this week because of the holiday, but on Tuesday we saw Mexico and Japan coming in as the top destinations for shipments for corn. We saw Mexico and China coming in for our top shipment destinations for beans, and Mexico and Thailand coming in as our top destinations for wheat. Today we did get the export sales report, and remember, going forward through the rest of the year, typically the Thursday morning export sales report is going to be so important, not only to see what all of our friends around the world are buying, but to see what China is buying, what commodity and how much. And it was interesting to see them being pretty much absent from the report today, but let's look at those numbers. Export sales for this week, corn came in way above expectation, with Japan and Mexico being our top buyers of corn. Soybeans came in below expectations for the week, with the two biggest buyers being Indonesia and Japan. And wheat came in as expected for the week on sales, with Indonesia and Mexico coming in first and second place. The other big USDA numbers this week obviously came from their Outlook Forum. I believe this was the 94th annual Outlook Forum. Remember, the numbers that we get at this meeting aren't based on any surveys. It's the work done by USDA economists. Our chief economist, Robert Johansson, presented some pretty amazing numbers for expectations for this crop year. It's really the first look at the 2020-2021 crop year, as well as they give us a lot of 10-year outlook expectations. So I'm going to run through some numbers real quick to make sure they're in your head good. When we look at beans, USDA's expectation, 85 million acres planted, 49.8 bushel national yield. That makes a 4.2 billion bushel crop, and a very low carryover number of 320 million bushels. That carryover number, or carry out, however you like to say it, is very price supportive. But again, this much sought after acre number of 85 million acres of beans. If we switch gears quickly to corn, corn came in expectations this year of 94 million acres planted, a 178.5 national yield. That makes a 15.4 billion bushel crop with a 2.6 billion bushel carryout, which that's not supportive to price. Those are big numbers. So remember, the spread right now between corn and bean futures definitely favors the American farmer planting more corn, and the USDA outlook numbers this week showed that. We'll wait and see. Remember the date, March the 31st, we'll get the actual intentional planted number from the USDA. When you look at a few headlines, coronavirus still dominated them this week. We also saw people and communities in South Korea that have now begun to deal with the coronavirus. So we just have to watch this play out, and certainly our thoughts are with all those communities, and just a real struggle globally, economically, because of this virus. And remember, back in 2002 and 2003, when the world dealt with SARS, I was reminded this week that social media didn't exist then. And the world is really handling the coronavirus differently, fears, whatever that may be, handling it very differently because of fast news and social media. We did see Argentina get some needed rains. We got numbers this week that Brazil's about 25% harvested. Their first crop soybeans last year, they were about 35% harvested this week. And speaking of Brazil, their currency, the real, hit an all-time low yesterday. Our U.S. dollar is almost at a 3-year high, so the spread between their currency and our currency has never been wider. And y'all know what that means. That means it's going to be, in that regard, harder for us to get some beans sold. I guess today, one of today's big news, just to close out the minute here today, was the president tweeted that additional aid would be supplied to U.S. farmers this year if the trade deals don't fully kick in. And that put a lot of skepticism into the traders' mindset this afternoon as we closed out the week. So be looking for more information from President Trump and the USDA going forward on that issue. And make sure you're paying attention to South American weather next week. And remember, if you've got any unpriced bushels on the March futures, we've got to get those priced or rolled next week. Please give us a call. We'd love to talk with you and help you however we can. This is Robert at Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division.